Why hello there, my fellow survivors in the toxic forest. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld, The Boundless Witch. Episode 6. I'm just not ready to make new friends. You're surprised I'm not growing Psychite? One of the reasons I'm not growing Psychite, if you're wondering, is typically without rain, the soil out here wouldn't support Psychite anyway, because the soil fertility is too low to support crops. And two, when you're not 18 or older, your body weight doesn't allow for drug metabolism. So it's essentially not safe to take drugs unless you're an adult in RimWorld, because the safe dosage is for a normal adult. It is not for a child. So the safe dosage for Witch is less than a single T, and she could become addicted more easily as a result, or overdose as a result. So drugs aren't safe for children in RimWorld. Probably in real life too, but definitely in RimWorld. All right, what is my toxic? Oh, I have 0 toxic buildup. Okay, so because I have 0 toxic buildup, let's spend some of that as a resource to create the conduit path down to the mountain mouth. One of the hidden advantages, however, of having a less than regular body weight, right? Because my body size is 0.8, so drugs assume you have a body size of 1.0, is that if I took luciferium, not that I plan to, I would need only 80% of the luciferium an adult would need. So you would need less luciferium than normal. And the disadvantage, of course, is the inverse is true. So if you give luciferium to like a thrombo, they need a lot more. Because the thrombo's body size is like 5 or something, so they need luciferium nearly every day to keep up with their dosage. Whereas as a 0.8 sized adult, I would need luciferium every 8.3 days, not 6.6 days. Unfortunately, I don't think antibiotics works the same way. The antibiotics dosages work differently. I don't think they're based on body size. I think they're just timed, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we have power down to the entryway of our potential cave. One of the reasons not to floor up, and I'll poll on this later once I'm done with some of my priorities, is we will get some biodiversity, which can support more life if I don't floor it up. Or alternatively, if I do floor it up, what I could do is I could floor up a fire break, figuring out where the fertile soil is, and do something where like I add a 3-wide fire break around the perimeter. Right? It's costly, but it will keep fire from spreading inside of the Pollux tree zone. But the Pollux tree's pollution removal zone can still plant crops. I mean, I could even treat it as a farm, going where the Pollux tree's pollution removal is and using the soil, which is obviously a lot more fertile as a result of its pollution removal. In this case, there's a steam geyser, so it's a little tricky to do over here. This is probably better used as a pollution dump zone, whereas here, there was no steam geyser, and there's nothing really blocking me from treating that as like a big old farm in the future. Or a heated greenhouse. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of far to go. I mean, you could do a heated greenhouse over here for like Devil Strand, but you wouldn't want it to grow anything here that you have to frequent often because of the travel time and distance. And unless you have like lifter bots and stuff like that. The infrastructure to be able to do it easily. Because it's kind of far away from the base. So we're about almost halfway into biofuel refining. And in 2 days, or a day and a half, is like the final grow season. So we're about to be outside of the grow season. I'm not going to harvest early until we start to get like a cold snap or crop loss due to cold. And then I'll just like rush harvest the corn or whatever. Yeah, you remember the tea drinkers from the Hobbits in the Lord of the Rings series? Exactly. The Hobbits had such a tiny body size that like any amount of beer or tea and they were addicted. It was a true issue in that series because the Hobbits were just like constantly addicts on everything. You know, they take one sip of mead and they're like, "Oh, I want mead for life." And it's like, "Oh my God, this is obnoxious." It actually wouldn't be impossible to have a heated greenhouse there because we do have a steam geyser nearby, so we can incorporate it. A future project, if you will. On brand, though. Yes, on brand for the Hobbits. Maybe not on brand for the Hobbits to, like, want to snort yayo, though. So it's, like, pseudo on brand, if you will. But not exactly. I wish there was a little bit more control where they just wanted, like, smoke leaf or something more tame. And not, you know, like hard drugs. Allie K, thank you for the resub. Cheers. All right. Research is really picking up speed as we are getting better at intellectual pursuits. Where I put the light, there is actually no dark corner in this entire trunk. And we're now sporting an intellectual of 11. Which is pretty nice. Because of all the rain, there's been a massive uptick of wild plant growth. Honestly, this forced weather was a blessing. Straight up blessing. So this pen now supports 2.18, not 0.84, which was before. So Silent Rider can easily graze. There are crops that we could plant here if I got irrigation going on the toxic soil. There's obviously toxic potatoes, but there's also tox plums, which would be interesting to grow in this soil. But again, it kind of requires irrigation beforehand because I can't rely on the constant rain because it's going to go away in 6 days. And it's going to go away in the winter in the winter when it's not even all that useful. Yes, and the skills will only increase, not decrease. She does indeed have a perfect memory, and she will never have skill decay. It's one of her boundless, right? Body mastery and perfect memory is what I'm considering boundless, where she's has quite the untapped potential. Plus, fast learner certainly helps as well. Yeah, the Toxic Forge doesn't look so nasty right now, does it? Actually kind of looks nice. I am hoping that, I'm going to do this. I kind of want to get rid of the dead bodies. And she's in a good enough mood that it's worth me moving this guy to a... I wish I could just close my eyes. To a water pool, so it decays quicker. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So now it's... the corpse is getting destroyed in 3 days, rather than in, like, I don't know how long it would take. But being thrown in a marsh goes pretty quick. Is this first attempt? It is. I have not had a save scum. Oh, what the? A Garlux. Just sprouting on its own. Alright. Biofuel refining is now done. So, the plan is to get a refinery. I'm going to build a refinery in this little spot. And then after we have biofuel refining, I'll be able to combine chem fuel and cloth into a gas mask so that the horrible, horrible pollution that exists on this map tile doesn't absolutely murder my health. And we'll just dump the chunks out there for future stone cutting. Now, in the cave, obviously, there is no pollution, so it's one of the advantages of going subterranean. One of the disadvantages is it's dark as hell. So what I'm going to do for now is to create a light here so I can dig better, and then put a light in the biofuel refinery room once we have that in. Hey, what's up, bud? Welcome to the cave. Population, you and me. And I want to add a door to the biofuel. Well, actually, in this case, I don't really need a door to the biofuel refinery. I don't really care that it's outside and has like a processing penalty speed. But eventually, we'll stick a door on it. So I'm going to need a little bit more steel to be able to build this thing, but I'm intending to build it here. So there's space for chem fuel storage in the room as well. What about bug hives? This spot is overhead mountain, so there is a risk. And in the future, when we have more power generation, I will consider deep freezing as a method to mitigate that risk. For now, I'm not going to really worry about it. There is a bit of an issue of the for insectoids to spawn and for me to need to kill them would be upsetting. But, like, it would also potentially be unavoidable. So it's one of those, like, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. It's one of those, I'll pull on this when it becomes further an issue. But you're not wrong. There is absolutely a infestation risk. And a lot of that can be mitigated with deep freezing the mountain. Thrumbos again. So, I was talking about body size earlier, so they're what, 5.5, I think? 4. So they would require 4 times more Lucy than a normal size human, meaning that they would take doses like every 1.6 days or something. I don't know. That was napkin or math in my head. Calculator! Wow! Spot on! Every 1.66 days. Thank you, calculator, for affirming that I know math. Ish. Ish. What? Only hauling 16? That ain't helpful, dude. Dudette, rather. Ow, you little rascal. Honestly, it would be better if we just hold it here. I should have just done this. I wasn't trying to do it like super efficiently, but like obviously that's where we ultimately want the steel, so we just got toxic buildup. That's a bummer. So we've already moved all the steel there, so this 11 can return back. It's close enough to a cable that I won't need any more hidden cables, I think. What is the rot timer on the toxamelons? 37? Because it's refrigerated? Oh god, it's getting cold in here. Noted. So the toxic melons are going to last longer than the potatoes, but like, so, but so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the potatoes. I'm going to make chem fuel from potatoes instead of melons, because we're still training with melons or potentially feeding melons. So I'm going to do until I have just 20, which is like a micro batch, because that's all I need for the first mask. And then I'll go back to working on the turrets. Because once this is done, I'm just going to like turn off the biofuel refinery. I don't really want to have anything powered on that I don't need powered on. Alright, that's enough. Witch. Flick. I'll leave the light on, it's not a big deal. Should have kept that parka? Maybe. It doesn't typically get cold enough for that. My cold tolerance is fine for minimum temperature, generally. So I'm not worried about that. So, once the power is high enough from wind to be able to make a mask, I will do that. Gas mask. And then, otherwise, I'm going to research battery to be able to add some batteries to our colony so that renewable resources are more viable. I can always make a parka, too. I am so happy with all this hill route. You cannot... I mean, I'm sure you can imagine. So, again, at the start of the scenario, I did cheat a little bit. I put it in air quotes because I don't really feel like it's all that cheating. Where I put a few hill route on the ground to begin with, so that in the case of a flu, malaria, etc., I wasn't like immediately just dead. And then I did have the plague. Oh, great. A pogrom from Pogum. They're running around with Molotovs, which is super strange. It's a pigskin who's a jealous slowpoke and not a child. So I'm going to force open this zone and put me behind the walls so I can just keep farming and ignore him, and he'll just like kill himself. And if he makes it through the door, I'll have Vermeer get drafted and draft myself, and Silent Rider will come running over. Splat. Hey, look at you. You lived. Do I want your parka? Sure. Speaking of parkas. Also, wouldn't mind your Molotovs, because honestly, I don't want to have to deal with corpses. So what I'm going to do is carry Mr. Polyp. That's what I'm going to call him. Polyp. And now, thanks to his Molotovs, I have a great way to deal with any future idiots that think I'm easy to kill. Problem solved. I will need to replace those traps. And once I have battery tech up... really? The head wrap? Okay, I guess that keeps you warmer. Once I have battery tech up, I'll add like a heater in here. As a reliable source of heat. Not because I don't... There's no such thing as like sleeping in the cold or whatever, right? Because we don't sleep. But I don't want hypothermia. I could throw on the parka, but I'd rather have the lab coat for the research speed anyway. But it's nice to even have the option for a parka. Alright, mask time. Well, there we go. That's what we look like. Dusty Survivor. A desperate refugee named Nuovo is approaching. They've been banished. I don't believe in charity. And I have no idea how old they are. Do we offer the refugee shelter? Now, the problem if we say yes is I don't really have the infrastructure to actually feed or water them or have them sleep or whatever, but I could work on it. But we would definitely have to deviate from our priority of getting turrets. But also, they might be a child. I mean, I'm not saying they aren't. They might be a child that we can add to our roster, too. Like, there's a chance of it. I'm not certain how old they are, but there's a chance. She's an adult. Oh, are they? 13 days. Yeah. So, yeah, you guys can vote. Yay or nay. One but rob them. Where'd you go? I think in the scheme of things, Molotovs are probably a better weapon for me to have than, like, even a revolver until I get SMGs. So, that's why I have the Molotovs on me. Because I'm very combat avoidant. Oh, God, don't do... No, don't touch that. And don't touch that. What zone am I trying to dump them into? I don't even know, but forbidden. All right. The other thing I'm going to need to do is to replace the traps. Obviously, those deadfall traps are gone. The ones that I've relied upon. I'm going to get rid of the Agrolux, though. It's weird to have a mushroom like growing in my murder cave. So let's go ahead down here and get a little bit more steel so I can put the traps back. Because although I am working towards turrets, oh shoot! All right, never mind. Gotta close my door and stay behind the walls. Which one is that one's aggro? Okay. Has no way to path to me, so I'm fine. As long as I stay behind the walls. So once I've, do I have a zone out there? I don't think I had zones. Shrink zone. I don't know if I have any active dump corpse zones, so I'm really not sure where I put... I was trying... Oh, you know what? Corpses. Yeah. So this is going to be for chunks only. That explains it. And only stone chunks. Okay. No refugee. Y'all have spoken. Reasonable. So we're researching battery tech so that we can store wind power. And that will make it easier for us to reliably have turrets have access to power when we need them. Because relying on wind alone means as soon as there's low wind, we would just be dead. We wouldn't have active defenses, and you guys pointed that out, and I agreed. That would be wise to do. So, we're getting batteries. I do only have 2 components, but there are compacted machinery here to mine up. There's compacted machinery here to mine up. So there is some compacted machinery around. And then if we need more compacted machinery, I could always trigger the grav engine, and that might give us some more too. Oh, every time we have a hostile animal, some stupid person's like, yo, what's up? Let me come visit. Yeah, it's your funeral. Maybe you won't die. There are a whole bunch of you. Well, you're dead. Hey, good news. Question to you all. Do I quickly pivot to research pemmican? So, this insect corpse is going to last for a few days. Might give me enough time to wait until almost it rots, butcher it, and then turn it into pemmican if you want. So what I'm going to do in either case is probably keep that corpse protected. Which means I am going to put a wood door here and throw its corpse in here. Now, the other thing I could obviously do is to turn it into chem fuel. It doesn't have to go to waste. I can chem fuel the insect meat. A timeless one, a teenager. Oh, please be young, please be young. Yes, you're 15. Oh, that's still too old, aren't you? Dang. Dang. You're half a year too old. Or 3 months too old or something. But, all right. A timeless one wants to talk to me. The problem is, if you know what a creep joiner is, if I turn him down, there's like a malice for it. So, Witch, let's say, knows this somehow, and we are going to, we're going to need to deal with the fallout from that. Which means I'm going to want steel traps. Because, before I even talk to him and say no. So, he has an air of strange confidence around him, and he wants to talk to us, and his origins are unknown. Alright, before we do that, let's talk to Robo here. In fact, these visitors might actually be able to lend us a significant hand in dealing with the Timeless One. So I may want to have them stick around. Oh, you don't have enough money for that. But you do have enough money for this. I may want them to stick around to help me out with the consequences of turning this dude down. Oh, and you're telling me about an alpha thrombo? Well, I don't hunt, so that's not super useful. And you guys think I should try to get pemmican. Got it. So, we're going to do what we can to try to preserve this corpse. Have it not go to waste. So I'm going to haul in this dead Omu into the cave. It is currently frozen as a result of it being cold enough. But I don't want... do you eat corpses? You do. So I don't want my pet to eat its corpse. So I'm going to keep it in the cave until I'm have pemmican tech up. And now I'm prepping to defend myself against the Timeless One's anger. No, don't leave! Protect me from this creepy kid! I totally get why the village kicked me out, because they thought I was a creep. Just like Krovich. I mean, look at him. He obviously, there's something wrong with him. Alright, bud. Krovich is barely more than a child, but in his thoughtful eyes you sense an ancient wisdom. When he speaks, the world seems to come from an unnatural knowledge of endless time. Kind of like myself. He says that the stars brought him here to fulfill his destiny. He wants to stay with you and help. As a former subject of a cultist ritual, he has the ability to defy death. He has the ability of self-resurrection. When he does, his flesh rapidly reforms, replacing his missing organs and healing wounds. Alright. I'm going to postpone, because, honestly, I don't have the traps to kill him 4 times. Oh, or whatever threat that pens if I piss him off. Yep. I'm not ready for that. So, still, I'm gonna get a little bit more steel for reasons. Can't I just ignore him? I could try. There's still a negative consequence. Basically, the TLDR is, and this is a bit of a spoiler, so I suppose it'll be blue for the duration, but you could look this up at any time. Creep joiners have a malice, even if you accept them. Basically, anytime you offer a creep joiner to join, there's two types of creep joiners that join. There's creep joiners that join without incident, and creep joiners that become metal horrors. So even if you say yes, they can still become a metal horror. And then if you anger them, there's a backlash effect where something negative happens, like sight stealers or metal horrors or, you know, whatever. So there is always a downside to turning a creep joiner down, in that there will be a negative consequence as a result of you turning them down. A hostility effect. Which is, yeah. Which is some sort of, and it would be known. I don't want to, I mean, I could cheat. I think the timeless one, yeah, I could cheat and show you what it is, but I don't want to cheat in that way. But basically, I know that there's some sort of negative consequence for turning a creep joiner down. And yeah, I want to delay this as much as I can. Because between Vermeer and Silent Rider, I have a chance at doing pretty well against whatever it is, plus all the traps, but like, I need more traps, just in case. Which sucks, because like, there's not a lot of steel on the map tile, so I'm a little worried about how much bang for my buck I've got ready to go. Could I make kibble with the insect meat? I could. Yep. That could be too. I could kibble it with potatoes. I don't even know why I'm doing pemmican. Let's just, yeah. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. Because they eat kibble, right? Yeah, they eat kibble. Okay, yeah. Let's do that. I don't know why I thought pemmican was my only recourse. So big derp to me. Essentially, I want food for my pets, and kibble. The other one is you eat kibble, yes? Yes. Okay, the fox squirrel eats kibble, so kibble is a good solution. Cool. Yeah, he is slowly getting toxic buildup to the point where, like, that is not exactly an ineffective means to defend myself. So for buildings, I want to put security inside here and non-security outside. Basically keep the traps close. Could you burn the corpse before it rises again? Hypothetically, but it's not him as a pawn that I'm worried about necessarily. It is the consequences of turning him down, which may not be from him directly. It might be a swarm of sight stealers that are trying to murder me as a result. Like, I don't know what the consequence is. I could dev mode find out, but I'm not doing it that way, obviously. So, yeah, there is some sort of negative consequence to say no to him. I don't know what it is, and I'm not gonna know until it attacks me, essentially. Let's get some more traps. Make it longer? I could make it longer. One of the things I was thinking about is to use the natural flat face here. Essentially, like, mine this out and then create a wall here to increase my trap length. And I would like to pivot towards because then I could gain access to this trap head through this building. It would kind of ruin this building, though. Like, the possibility of turning this into, like, a room or something, which is one of my hesitations. But there is a chance. I think I am going to deal with a shorter trap corridor instead. And just hope for the best. I could also have a trap corridor, mine this out here and have a trap corridor come down that way. And use the side of this mountain as a trap corridor. But neither way, I'm gonna try to handle this current creep join request with what I've got, which is Silent Rider, Vermeer. Oh, disappointed in the way I treated him, he has decided to leave. So I don't know what the consequence will be, but what I do know is I'm gonna want to be behind my walls for whatever it is. I want to be close to security, which means research works well. I'll be behind walls. Also, Vermeer, if you could go dormant right there, that'd be great. Actually, go dormant right here. Be between me and whatever wants to do me in. One of the advantages of this is he's now a valid target. I think? No, actually, dormant mechs I don't think are valid targets. I don't know. I'm a little worried. But bye, bud. Sorry I said no. Or actually, I didn't say anything. I just ignored you. Well, from one creepy kid to another. Shoo shoo. Shoo shoo. And maybe not talking to them at all is a way to reject them without the reject consequences. I'm not even certain. I'm hoping. But time will tell. So, if we wanted to kibble this thing, I think we could. Let's do it now that it's pretty frozen out. And then I am going to prematurely harvest this corn because it's basically full grown. And I probably will do the same for the cotton, because I can't imagine the cotton is going to survive much longer. Ooh, nice! Zan, thank you for the resub. I'm very happy that we got some ship chunks for components. That's super helpful. Yeah, this map tile's not big enough for the two of us. Yeah, absolutely. So we got rain for one more day, and then I can potentially burn up the bodies that are on the map tile with the Molotovs that I got, and clear it out a bit. But we'll go ahead and, actually, how do you guys decide? Even better. What to do with insect meat? Kibble, chem fuel. I don't really have a need for meals. Not that anyone wants to eat insect meat, so kibble and chem fuel make the two, they're consequently the two most let's say appetizing decisions. And feel free to vote. And if it's a mix, maybe I do a little bit of both. It is a lot of meat. I don't need to do all the one thing. Now, my research speed is probably, yeah, it's negatively effective as a result of being too cold in here. So I am going to put a heater down. And I know without batteries, it's going to be hard to keep this heater on, but, you know, whatever. And the weather controller has stopped. Let's grab those Molotov cocktails, because I'm definitely going to want to clear the map tile of the gross. Yeah, even with the door open, because I want the door open for a valid path for potential raids. It seems fine. Alright, we're gonna do like half kibble, half chem fuel. something like that. A little bit more kibble than Kimfuel maybe, but you know, around those. Let's go ahead and butcher it. Get it turned into food and fuel. So I've got, put it down, can't count it, 330 kibble meat worth. So, I'll just make kibble out of potatoes and melons first. And I'll do about 180 or leave like 150 worth of insect meat. Actually, we only need, so for Chemfuel from organics, Chemfuel from insect meat. Let's do one more batch of kibble. See where that gets us. Maybe 2 more batches of kibble, and then the rest will be Chemfueled. I think it's useful to have a food source that isn't spoiled. One more for our pets. Yeah, one more. That would be about equal. Alright, perfect. So we got a lot of kibble. 450. And that's great food and training stuff. That also is potentially taming stuff for the fox squirrel. But I think security is still a higher need than adding another pet. I want to add another pet, don't get me wrong, but right now it's gotta wait. Yeah, that is indeed the benefit of kibble over pemmican. Never rots. Once I have a little bit more reliable source of power via solar and batteries and wind or something like that, obviously we could run a freezer and then full on meals is fine. But for now, we definitely want to keep it from rotting. And then in lean times, I could just move the kibble into the pen and have Silent Rider eat it when there's nothing left to graze on. So it's food security. Because food security is a thing, not for me, but for my pets. Alright, batteries are done. Now the battery's done, let's get down to the ship chunks. Rather than to spend time mining, let's get down to the ship chunks and break them down for materials. And I think the consequences of the turning down the creep joiner would have been known to me already. So I'm not going to keep myself zone restricted. I also don't want to necessarily burn the corpses at the moment because the map tile's very lush as a result of the recent rains. And I don't want to ruin the plants that are around here needlessly. So I'd rather just leave the plants alone. And leave the corpses alone. I don't need to actively burn these up, in other words. And I'm planning on putting the batteries... Oh, come on. Hold it all. I'm planning on putting the batteries inside of the... I hate when it does this. Inside of the cave. Because it's going to be a little bit more secure than being in like a wooden room full of fuels. So I'm going to mine out a spot for the batteries in here. You want to see the ghouls I mentioned? If there's a chance. For me to get the ghouls I mentioned, what would need to happen is a ghoul would need to wander into the map tile for me to know what ghouls are, and then for me to study entities, like ghouls or shamblers or something like that, to be able to unlock the ghoulification research. So if given the chance, I absolutely intend to do that. 100%. I just don't know when or even if. But if it is possible, I intend to do it. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld: The Boundless Witch, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a miniseries marathon. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow witches and warlocks.